The Devil's Dictionary was begun in a weekly paper in 1881 and was continued in a desultory way at long intervals until 1906. In that year, a large part of what is published in covers with the title The Cynic's Word Book, a name which the author had not the power to reject or happiness to approve. To quote the publishers of the present work, this more reverent title had previously been forced upon him by the religious scruples of the last newspaper in which a part of the work had appeared, with natural consequences that when it came out with in covers, the country already had been flooded by its imitators with a score of cynic books. The cynics this, the cynics that, and the cynics t'other. Most of these books were merely stupid, and though some of them added the distinctions of silliness. Among them, they brought the word cynic into disfavor so deep that any book bearing it was discredited in advance of publication. And meantime, too, some of the enterprising humorists of the country had helped themselves to such a part of the work as it served their needs, and many of his definition, anecdotes, phrases, and so forth have become more or less current in popular speech. This explanation is made not with any pride or priority in trifles, but in simple denial of possible charges of plagiarism, which is no trifle. In merely resuming his own author, in merely resuming his own, the author hopes to be held guiltless by those to whom the work is addressed, enlightened souls who prefer dry wines to sweet, sense to sentiment, wit to humor, and clean English to slang. A, a conspicuous and it is hoped not unpleasant feature of the book is its abundant illustrative quotations from eminent poets, chief of whom is that learned and genius cleric, Father Gasalaska Jape, S.J., whose lines bear his initials. To Father Jape's kindly encouragement and assistance, the author of the proposed text is greatly indebted. A.B. Abasement. A decent and customary mental attitude in the presence of wealth or power, peculiarly appropriate in an employee when addressing an employer. Abatis. Rubbish in front of a fort, to prevent the rubbish outside from molesting the rubbish inside. Abdication. An act whereby a sovereign attests his sense of high temperature of the throne. Poor Isabel is dead, whose abdication set all tongues wagging in the Spanish nation. From that performance, I'm fucking blind. Tweer? Tweer? Tweer. That makes more sense. For that performance, it were unfair to scold her. She wisely left the throne too hot to hold her. To history, she'll be no royal riddle, merely a plain parched pea that jumped the griddle. Abdomen. The temple of the god stomach, in whose worship, with sacrificial rites, all true men engage. From women, this ancient faith commands but a stammering assent. They sometimes minister at the altar in a half-hearted and ineffective way, but true reverence for the one deity that men really adore, they know not. If women had free hand in the world's marketing, the race would become graminivorous. I'm just gonna fucking leave it up to there. Fuck it. This is still a cold run anyways.